The interstellar transport hum of Aurora's grace filled the dock as I stepped onto the platform, my boots clanging against the metallic floor. The air was thick with the scent of ionized ozone and recycled atmosphere, a smell that always reminded me of home, even though I'd spent a decade drifting through the void. My hand instinctively brushed against the side of my chest where a faint scar ran beneath my uniform, proof of the skirmish that had left me stranded on Cygnus 9 years ago. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her presence should have been impossible. Yet there she was, leaning against a console, her silver hair catching the dim lights like liquid mercury. I froze, my breath hitching. "Ira," my voice barely escaped my throat. She looked up, startled, and for a heartbeat, her eyes widened. Not in recognition, not in disbelief, but in something I hadn't expected, relief and a shimmer of heartbreak. "I thought you were dead," she whispered, almost to herself. Her voice cracked like the fragile veneer of a starship's hull. I stepped closer, each movement deliberate, wary. I admitted softly, but I survived. Somehow. Ira's hands trembled as she straightened, pushing away from the console. "You are gone. I've mourned you for years." Her eyes, the same iridescent gray I remembered from our academy days, searched my face as if trying to reconcile memory with reality. "I know," I said. My voice caught on the words I'd rehearsed in the solitude of my exile. "I've tried to reach you." She shook her head, tears brimming. "The Cygnus incident. You were presumed lost after the engine core meltdown. Everyone thought there was no chance of survival. And yet," I said, a wry smile tugging at the corner of my mouth, "here I am." Ira's lips parted, but no words came. She simply took a step toward me, as if closing the distance could erase the years of absence. It had been 10 years. 10 years since the mission that had torn us apart. We were cadets on the Vanguard Initiative, a coalition of explorers mapping uncharted sectors near the Cygnus Rift. Our team was the first to attempt a stabilized jump near the black hole's event horizon, a leap that promised breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel. I remember her smile that day. Bright, unwavering, fearless. "If we make it, we'll have the stars at our fingertips," she had said. But the stars betrayed us. The engine core surged beyond safe limits, and the rift's gravitational pull ripped us apart. I was thrown into an escape pod, only to awaken on Cygnus 9, a frozen planet in an uncharted system, with no way to communicate my survival. Every message I sent had failed, every rescue attempt futile. And in the void between despair and survival, I thought of her constantly. Ira was still staring at me as I stepped closer. The years had changed her. Gone was the naive cadet who had laughed at my clumsy attempts to pilot the training simulators. In her place stood a woman tempered by loss, her eyes carrying both strength and sorrow. How did you survive?" she finally asked. I sighed, leaning against the console. "Cygnus 9 isn't hospitable. I had to adapt, scavenge, even make a settlement out of the wreckage. It wasn't easy. I didn't expect to be found, ever." Her gaze softened, yet a question lingered there. "You didn't try to return?" "I tried," I admitted. "But the rift interfered with all FTL signals. By the time I could escape, the initiative had assumed I was dead." She swallowed hard, her hand brushing against mine, tentative, almost afraid I might vanish again. "And all these years, I thought I lost you forever. I moved on or tried to. But seeing you now, it's like time itself faltered." Her words hit me like an asteroid strike. I had lived through the void, faced unimaginable isolation, but nothing had prepared me for this moment. The collision of absence and presence, loss and reunion. I never stopped thinking of you, I said, my voice low. Even when I had no hope of ever returning, your memory kept me alive. Her tears fell freely now, sparkling under the station's cold light. And I waited for a sign. Every mission, every report, I hoped, but nothing came. I buried my heart in work, in training cadets, in scanning sectors, hoping, maybe foolishly, that you'd return. I reached for her hand, feeling the warmth of her skin, the trembling pulse that mirrored my own. I'm here, I said simply, and I'm not leaving again. The reunion was bittersweet. We spent the next few hours recounting the years of separation. Ira told me about the missions she led, the lives she saved, and the moments when she thought of me in the quiet darkness of Starship Bridges. I shared my survival story, how I had built a small community on Cygnus, 9 with remnants of old probes, how I had learned to communicate with the planet's strange electromagnetic flora, and even discovered a source of energy that rivaled the core drives of modern vessels. You built a civilization? Ira asked, awe in her voice. A small one, I admitted. Enough to survive. But it wasn't home. Home was you. Her eyes glimmered. I thought I was the only one who felt that way. The first night aboard Aurora's Grace, we stayed on the observation deck, watching the stars stretch into ribbons as the ship navigated hyperspace. The rift glimmered on the sensors, a swirling void of energy, beautiful and terrifying. I used to think the stars were infinite, Ira said softly, leaning her head against my shoulder. But then I realized it's the connections we make that truly matter. The people we care about, they are the real constellations. I pressed my lips to her temple. Then let's make sure we never lose each other again. The universe is too vast to be apart, but the past had a way of lingering. Weeks after my return, the Vanguard Initiative contacted me with an urgent request. A new rift anomaly had emerged, threatening colonies across nearby sectors. The same engineers who had presumed me dead now needed my expertise and Ira's. Standing on the command bridge, side by side, we prepared for the mission. The rift crackled on the monitors, an unpredictable storm of gravitational and temporal fluctuations. You really think we can stabilize it? Ira asked, fingers brushing mine, a silent affirmation of our renewed bond. I nodded, scanning the calculations. We have to. Lives are at stake. And I promised you, didn't I? We stick together through everything. Her smile was brief, but full of unspoken love and trust. Through everything. The operation was perilous. We maneuvered the Aurora's Grace into the rift's outer edge, deploying stabilization drones and carefully calibrated energy pulses. The rift thrashed, threatening to tear the ship apart, but we held steady, our hands intertwined as we worked in tandem. And then, the impossible happened. The anomaly began to stabilize, the chaotic energy waves aligning into a harmonic resonance. Ira's hand found mine, squeezing tightly. We did it, she breathed, disbelief and triumph mingling in her voice. I smiled, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. Together. Months later, we returned to a sector safe enough to finally breathe. The Vanguard Initiative hailed our success, praising our ingenuity and courage. But accolades meant little compared to what we had regained. Each other. One evening, aboard a quiet observatory deck of the station, I took her hands in mine. The stars outside twinkled like distant promises. Ira, I don't want to waste another decade thinking I might lose you. Will you be mine? Permanently? Her eyes shimmered, tears reflecting the galaxies beyond. I've waited 10 years for this. Yes, I will. And there, surrounded by the silent majesty of space, We sealed our reunion, not just as survivors of a cosmic tragedy, but as partners, as lovers, as the constellations in each other's hearts. The universe stretched endlessly before us, but we had discovered the gravity that truly mattered, not the pull of stars, but the bond of two hearts reunited against all odds. Years later, when the tales of the Cygnus Rift were told to cadets across the initiative, they spoke not just of danger and discovery, but of a love that defied time and space, of a bond that survived loss, distance, and the cold void of the unknown. And somewhere among the stars, we drifted together, never lost again, our eyes forever meeting across the cosmos, a testament to the truth that even in the most desolate corners of space, hope and love endure. The station's observation deck was quiet, bathed in the soft glow of distant stars. I held Ira's hand, feeling the pulse of life, so fragile, yet so unbreakable, between us. "I thought I lost you forever," she whispered, her voice trembling. "And yet, here we are," I said, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. "Not just surviving, but alive. Together." She leaned into me, and for a moment, the universe outside ceased to exist. No rifts, no missions, no distant stars, just us. Then she pulled back slightly, eyes searching mine. "Do you realize what this means? After everything, we can finally choose our own path. No more drifting, no more missions tearing us apart." I nodded, a smile breaking across my face. "Then let's make it count. Every day, every moment, no regrets." Her lips curved into a smile, radiant and fearless. "I've waited 10 years for this. 10 years, but I'll wait 10 more if I have to." I drew her close, holding her as the station drifted silently through space, a lone beacon of hope in an infinite void. "No more waiting," I murmured. "We're home in each other." And as our eyes met, I knew the truth. Some bonds are stronger than time, more enduring than the void, and no matter the distance, no matter the darkness, love, real love, will always find its way back. The stars outside shimmered like a promise, and we stepped forward together into a future we would write side by side, never lost again.